This patch is unlike anything we've seen in terms of changes to the game. In this video, we'll go over the patch changes for the final state of the Overlord heroes, hero reworks, artifacts, new mechanics, the direction the game is going, the secret Abyssal Leaks around the patch. We'll also go over the most random and fun hero in the game, Pippa. You guys are an awesome community and I'm giving back by concentrating all you need to know into this one video. Like and subscribe, it really helps me out, and let's get started. Pippa is a big new wielder that takes understanding to use, and we'll talk about her high skill ceiling in just a second. But first, I have to address the Overlord controversy. Alberto and Ainz are heroes I like a lot, and just so everyone's up to date, they get released with rates that free-to-play players had no chance to get. This was a big issue for several reasons I'll cover quickly. First, after OQ, the developers promised they won't put anything beyond a complete paywall. Breaking this promise is a precedent that players didn't enjoy. Second, the community doesn't have a consensus about whether paywalls are okay or not. Some pay-to-play players are fine with them, which caused a heated community debate across platforms, which got really bad. Third, during the community arguments, the moderators or players not working for Lilith were completely flooded, having little to no power to influence this while barely managing to keep the community under control. Burned out some good mods, which is an issue going forward. Look, my personal take on this is I think there were better ways to go about it. I know how the growth of this top grossing game has slowed significantly due to audience dilution, but I feel like Lilith understands the community is an asset to their success and they just can't do it this way. This is why they increased the cap on some of the resource trades, allowing free-to-play players to get both heroes. I don't know if it's enough on its own, but I am going to use the platform for good. For one thing I do know, we owe a big thanks to the data miners and the mods of this community giving us the method to handle such issues. They're doing really an amazing job. Because of that, I ask you, please give them some appreciation. They're not to blame for this. I mean, I know I don't get the largest exposure, but if a couple thousand of you watch this and like 50 of you send a positive message to the mods about this, I think we've done something good. Now back on track to the video. If you watch this channel, you're probably clever enough to know better than some people who said the nerf on Overlord heroes got them to be unviable. Let me clarify. There are some people, and I mean some people on Reddit, who are trying to convince me the other day that fully invested Ainz and Albedo will not see campaign usage. Oh, we're the haters wrong, and we did get some haters recently. With this patch we could test them, and let me just show you this one screenshot from Ammo, linked to me by the awesome Grub. Some of you may remember for the Numisu video. Really useful guy, been giving me lots of information. I'll also edit some clips on screen right now, but as you can see, they broken. Nerf schmurf, nobody cares. In fact, they're so broken, Lilith felt like they should do a couple buffs, and we're gonna talk about them in just a second. But back to the patch notes, I digress. There's going to be a new voyage, new Trials of God. That one's gonna have special debuffs like no energy regen, man stuff. I know you guys like strategy stuff like that, so I'm gonna cover that in a separate video. We already got enough content to cover today, and in there you'll probably be able to win the new class artifact, buffing warriors 15 haste, 12 life leaves after every one of their first two ults. Its name is Chaosbringer and it will see use. You see, most warriors like Saurus, like Wukong, like broken stuff like Isolde, they're ones that rely on the fight going on for a long time, so they can use this kind of stuff. We also got achievement, VIP 15 rewards, blah blah blah. Wales big happy can now choice summon 5-star, almost nobody cares. Anyways, there's a few changes marking the direction the game is going, guys, and I wanted to talk about this. Now, you know me, guys, you know I love the game, you know I'm super passionate about this, but I really want to be honest with you. There's a few things I'm not the happiest about, but let's start with the positive. There's a new chapter 38 before anyone has reached 37, but this time they're nerfing all chapters between 31 and 37. That's good stuff. With this amount of burnout, giving older players access to more content is a good thing to do. Another good thing is going to be the replacement feature, allowing players who possess 5-star Celis Hypo to trade for another hero. Now you guys may be telling me, this is whale only, nobody cares, but I've seen some gazers make mistakes. This is a good thing, guys. This allows players to correct what they do. Stars and Celis Hypos are typically not the best thing to go for, especially if you got extras. So I'm just happy for the fact that some players that I've seen make these mistakes, and I've seen it happen, can now kind of atone for it and get a certain reward. There's also going to be a new Abyssal map with linked bosses, but sadly this is where the positive ends. This game is gonna take more time than it used to if you want to optimize your progress. Now I know some of you might be telling me, Linker, even in double labs days, which was the worst of it I think, you didn't have to do all of them, like you could wait. But I'd argue optimizing your progress is a big part of what the game's about. Like in a gacha, you're missing out, you're not competing, you're just burning out at that point. This causes major player burnout if they're trying to optimize day by day, and major player burnout if they're not. So I think that's a big issue in the game, especially with Misty Valley and Abyssal Expedition becoming a main feature, which we'll talk about in a second, part of this game rotation. On top of many new hero trials, you're seeing more and more events and less AFK, and I hear more and more complaints about how the game is taking the AFK out of AFK Arena. Look, the value of AFK rewards used to be what this game is about. Now that's hardly the case, and that upsets me. If Lilith really feels like the developers are stretched thin, I would slow down on the Abyssal and the changes and everything that's really good, and we'll get to in a second, and I just improve the quality of life of this game. Like, you listen to your players, just do something simple. Make them exchange factionless gear. I know you guys hate that for some resource or something. Do just the simple things. Let players breathe, because all these recent changes just demand more and more time. And I hear people don't got time for that. People got jobs. I got job and I create content. Like, how am I supposed to go do Abyssal, do like 4 hours a day? I can't do that. And you can too. And I hear you guys. I hope Lilith will change that. And I recently got a special meeting with them via Discord. I'll tell you guys more about that later once it's formalized, but I'm really trying to drive forward good suggestions. So if you have any good suggestions for changes in the game or anything, leave it in the comment below. I'll read that stuff and I'll compile it alongside stuff from my Discord to get the developers on page with us, make a positive change. Also, we're on a streak of good information and a little bit of rant. Let's talk about buffs in this game for a second. Obviously, Lilith is gonna make that bottom line. I mean, I get it. If you nerf some heroes that people paid for, they'd be upset. I really get it. I really do. But there's plenty good reasons why nerfing would be good in this game. First would be power creep. The fact that heroes will inevitably be left behind, like Rain used to me, like Olma is, like Isabella right now. You may be telling me, Linker, you could rework these, but every rework buff you do, just put somebody ahead of the pack and put somebody on the bottom of the pack. You're just essentially creating a new strong hero on the list, leaving the bottom part behind. No, don't get me wrong on this. It's good to have weaker heroes with specific goals in mind. You see Shamira, I love the way Shamira is right now. A hot take. She's great. She carried me in the mid game. She can still carry you in the mid game. She's not the best, but she does good. If you invest in her, you'll get far through the mid game. You'll get better heroes faster. But in the late game, she doesn't do much. Those heroes are in a healthy place. You don't have to take every single one of them and just buff everything to eternity. All you do when you're buffing, when you're faced against the very heroes that get buffed, people don't understand that every hero that isn't in the patch notes gets nerfed. Like with these mass nerfing that everybody don't understand, you just have this value reducing down. This is why I'm not decided about Lilith just around like buffing 10 hero abilities in a way nobody could predict. It messes up with the planning aspect in the game, which I personally like a lot, and I feel like you guys on this channel do too. I mean, the buffs themselves are fun though. I would target them at weaker heroes. Well, let's look at what Lilith did, because I think you guys are gonna like this, and maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. Beautiful white sushi image, starting off with a Talene buff. A Talene buff. Let me repeat that. A Talene buff. Talene did not need a buff. Sure, when you release mad OP overlord heroes and you want the game masker to remain the best, I understand why you would buff her. Give her like 10% on base. Give her something like that. I get it. Fine. You want people spotlight. You want to give her a skin. Whatever. But my goodness, her all 9 is now in a 3, and we gotta talk about her 9 for a second. Okay, watch this thing. I want you to look at this thing while this thing scrolls. So look, every 5 seconds, if there's an ally with lower HP than her, meaning every 5 seconds, she wins the game. She wins the game. Like, I mean it. She has 3 furniture abilities and 1 furniture bonus, and she's already the strongest hero in the game. She gets the 9 from the 3 at lower investment. And now, she does first. She converts health into permanent Fireborn shield. Unlisted, but I checked it for you guys. That allows her to deal extra damage on her basic, allowing her to heal more. Not only that, second effect, she also summons a meteorite that deals almost 300% damage, and now she lost some health. She heals herself back for about 100% of her scaling. On top of that, she triggers either 1 or 2 ticks, healing the most injured allies by up to 500%. to 1000% of her attack virtue of her passive. Giving her more ways to play with her HP through the fight is just stupid. She has too much. She does too much right now. She did not need this buff. I think this most prevalently buffed her support, which is good, because this is the thing, people that just target Talene at the start and don't have the whole god comp, they tell me, Linker, I can't do this, like Talene doesn't carry me on her own if I don't have full SI, full god comp, full everything. Right now her support is gonna be so strong. So if you listen to me and you get Talene when she was broken, right, now when you get her furniture, she's even more broken. But then again, she was broken beforehand. Now let's just run through the rest, doesn't really matter. Gradual Gotcham Shield, damage buff, we care about TR, that's great, otherwise nobody cares in campaign. It's still only used for magic bonus, demonic assault, tiny Persian community, I actually understand how to use the shield animation from the backline, nobody cares. Whatever. Thoran, good health recovery and his furniture, good. It makes him a defensive hero, which we love to see. Makes virtually zero difference for Cheese, but we love it on the defensive Thoran and this challenge. He gets more health after the thing he does. Speaking of hero buffs that will have mostly zero difference, if Lorsan leaves the shield, someone get more time to dodge. Devs, if you're missing the fact that anybody that's using Lorsan isn't aware of the concept of fights going for longer than 5 seconds. I mean, the +9 is cool, but it's nothing to be prioritized. I mean, I think it's a healthy change overall. It's good to like buff him, he's a nice hero, but then again, fights go on for half a second. Introduce Zephyrael, now it goes for like third of a second. Who cares for this, like whatever. Also, devs realized Casa's buff made little difference for everyone who isn't Shay wailing for furniture, taking advantage of the fact this guy gets Arthur levels of defense, everybody sleeping on him, whatever. Very healthy buff here. Not fixing his weak spots to make him OP, but rather capitalizing on his strong spots where the fight goes long enough for his lifesteal passive to make a difference. I like this one. They do this little tweak, they don't just completely break the guy, they give him another extra ability. If he also gets some buffs, you can see here, he was never like this mad carry. It's gonna make him better in tower, and it might even be enough to maybe allow for some Mauler sets in campaign. I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna be, but I love these small changes at the time where they make the strong spots stronger. I think these are more healthy. This is how you shape the identity of a hero. But we got other good things in store though. You see the leaks, Pippa, the events, starting with the leaks. The reliable Waisu, she got them from a special guild whose family ties with Lilith employees, and they sound pretty promising. Let's just go over them. Pretty reliant too, grain of salt as usual, you know the drill. New Abyssal is going to be about lightbearers with a Gwyneth skin. Gotta love that, gotta love Gwyneth. There's gonna be a new map including Fortress, Grains, and Treasure Caves. Fortress is gonna be hard enemies, your teamwork, you take down with unite groups, rewarding dragon crystals, that one thing we were all going to pitchforks for. Second is gonna be the Grains, daily respawn stamina tiles, which is great, but I hope the map will be designed to encourage teamwork around these. Lastly, Treasure Caves. They should include in-game surprise rewards if they're taken. And then again, we have new boss. It's gonna be Fortress Admiral C, I think it's called, likely allowing for some sort of teamwork between different sides of the map. You will have special guards, commanders, admirals, all this nice mini boss fights. After defeating them, you'll have a merchant spawn allowing to purchase items that should buff your team in the expedition. If it's a short-term buff, I like the strategic part of it. We'll have to wait to see what exactly this is. In addition, sorcery should get a rework. I love this, guys. I hope you do too. If you've been watching my channel, you probably know sorcery needed to become stronger, and Abyss sorcery also needs to become stronger. In general, it's the worst solar tree, which is great for new players, and it's very new player friendly. While tank skills also get minor changes. Lastly, they added snipe timer and made occupation better. I hope pathing is still good despite occupation being better, because you know, path, you don't have the occupation. Anyways, overall, good direction, good changes. I hope they would direct some of this developer time that I know went into designing a map, thinking about everything, into a little bit more quality of life, so we wouldn't have to be as engaged. And now, the part we're all waiting for, drum roll please. Pippa. That's the fun part, Pippa. In one word, random. In 2 words, Pippa. That's one word. I don't care. She's a wielder mage that has pretty unique interactions and special fail mechanics. I mean, I love it. I loved it ever since I've seen it. I mean, from a brief run of her abilities, just let's talk about it before we dive to the analyze you guys are waiting for. Alt imitates Tassie Slip, Namora Heal, Ardent Lightning, goes random. 2 deals some damage, transform enemy into Acorn, making them helpless for 5 seconds. Has 25% chance to fail this, in which case she becomes the Acorn and gets extra dodge. So it's a little funny. It's like a buff, but she does nothing. Her 3 keeps channeling orbs until she fails. She gradually has more chance to fail over time, just over 6 of these every second, with every orb after the 4th granting a small fail chance. The orbs also have a small random chance to gain random effects. Love that. 4 teleports enemy on top of another, dealing damage, stunning enemies, reposition power. She has high chance to fail this at the first cast, causing an ally to be teleported. Signature item on average creates 2 additional orbs for every 3 she casts, giving her teleport ally immunity and make her acorn target 2 enemies without fail after 2 casts. Plus 3 furniture makes her consistently imitate the same ult over time, giving her the more overheal shields, secondary bolt on stun on ordnance lightning, or energy drain and Tassie sleep. Plus 9 furniture giving her energy and permanent attack whenever another hero ults. Okay guys, this is why you're here. Alright, analysis, I can cut like the whole act thing. What is that? Like, what is that thing? Her plus 9 is like Rowan signature level stuff. Like, oh my god, she's gonna enjoy the investment. She's gonna be mad random. I love that design. First, she gets the original ability scalings on her ult. This means she casts ardent scaling on the lightning. I don't know if you guys know this, but legendary heroes have mad scaling, so that in the start of the game they clearly outclassed like the low tier heroes. This means that those scalings are back as they are, and they are huge. I'm gonna roll some clips. I don't have many, but I hope this will help you guys get the picture. Second, the orb math. You can usually expect about 7 to 8 of these. 7 is gonna be average. 60% I think, 8 is gonna be 40% of these to proc if she's uninterrupted. Now you have this signature item generate about 5 more at low investment, with about 9 of them being special effect orbs. Now I don't know if you caught all these numbers. I know this goes all the way through, but you guys like it. Let me just explain. This means on average this ability will have a little over 1 second channel where she deals massive 1200% of her scaling on top of 9 special effects. I mean, I'm rounding up a little bit, but oh my god, is that mad? Are those numbers mad? This is just an ability. This is not that old. She just like spreads effects across the enemy team, does like, look at her. She does the Tassie thing. And third, Pippa teleport failure isn't really a failure. It can be coordinated highly accurately based on her positioning, making it a mechanic to either stun enemies early or send an ally to invade like Kelther does. So both you have this enemy repositioning ability and you have the ally repositioning ability that high skill players I know are gonna use. This has plenty of synergies and counter matchups. Just for example, like think about Scrag Furniture, you love that. And she has Tassie ult with feral energy drain on top, and she's able to banish 2 enemies while they can still be hit. So you might be telling me, man, how is this okay? Like, seriously, like she's gonna be broken, like she's gonna be Iron, she's gonna be Talene, and I'll tell you how. This is actually okay. This is what a campaign hero looks like. If you read between the lines, she's broken good, with her weak points obviously being inconsistency, but then also fragility and slowness. I think in the mid-game PvP range, she's gonna be a wonderful carry, but in the very end game, Legend Championships, stuff like that, I think she'll prove too risky to fit into PvP sets, kind of like a Khazad syndrome, where the kit is incredible, but it's just too much of a gamble. However, in campaign, her inconsistency will prove her strong point, where she can pull incredible amounts of damage, fulfill many roles in the team if you can just do 1, 2, 3 retries. She's one of those heroes that can do amazing stuff and will take high skill ceiling players to understand all the different variations and chances that she offers in the battle and optimize her effect if you want to make the best out of her. I love that. I love the strategic aspect of the game, and I know this is one of those heroes that people will just completely figure out. Like, you'll see the replays on Reddit where she does insane things, and then you'll try and you want to understand why it doesn't happen. But then again, you'll know her, you'll get experience with her, and if you know what you're doing, she will prove to be useful, I have no doubt. In the campaign, I have no doubt about this cat. She's going to be prevalent. She's likely to see use, especially in the early game, but also in the very late game. She will be there in the campaign. She'll be very viable. She'll be in the meta. I don't know if top end, like I don't know if this is Talene, Heinz, Albedo kind of thing, but she's gonna be there and she's gonna do stuff. I feel it. And I am crunching this work here to bring you guys the best content. Like and subscribe so the algorithm picks up on this video, and thank you very much for watching. Guys, I've been Linker. Peace.